What's up, everybody? This is Damage Per Second Podcast. I want to say episode 109, but I might be wrong. It's been a while. Oh, 209. 209. I think it's 209. I think it's I think it is 209. You know, it's been a while. I'm sorry. It's just hasn't been something that we haven't done a podcast in a couple of weeks. So there it is. I mean, what do you
You
what
know,
do you expect?
episode 19.
I'm
You
about
know,
no,
like, let's go back 3 years.
I was literally just thinking, I was like, dang, what is the episode? Is it 209? Yes, episode 209 of DPS podcast. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to David Faulkner talking about the loading screen being on a Series S. I kind of was laughing at that one because I forgot that it does sit at the loading screen after the time runs out. But we're here now, and we are going to talk about, our favorite things, gaming, what we've been playing, a couple of rapid fire things that we could talk about that happened over the course of the last couple of weeks. Black Myth Wukong, the controversy
Do we have
around
topics?
that. We do.
Do we have topics?
Yeah, I'm loading them back. I had to reset it. It just didn't load up. We have topics. I'm actually reading the topics as I'm trying to reset it. But we have the Black Myth Wukong controversy that's going on. Everybody's basically saying they blaming Xbox, but we'll talk about that. We got the Marathon game director coming out talking about Marathon and telling us stuff about the game that we already know about, an extraction shooter. But it really sounds like PlayStation made them make this video so they could get some more engagement around just, I guess, the Twitter and everything around Marathon, because it's probably non-existent. And then Secret Levels wanted to make a Doom and Halo crossover with Master Chief and Doom guy. And guess what Xbox said? You can pretty much imagine. We're going to talk about that too. But with that being said, I want to introduce the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that be bodying these people in these Call of Duty streets, especially other content creators. Your boy, SloMoBackSlap.
What's up, man? What's up? Yeah, man. It's been good. I've had a good holiday. I've been playing a lot of multiplayer games, but not necessarily anything that you can say I completed this. You know what I mean? Like I could put it on my games beat list. I literally was looking at all these games I had installed, and I said, nah. I just don't feel like playing them. I've been playing, like I've been saying for the past 2-3 weeks now, Marvel Rivals and Call of Duty. That's all I've been playing. And I haven't really been playing anything else. Maybe a little Fortnite here and there, but I just don't feel like playing like any. I think I got kind of burnt out after beating Metaphor.
Man, shoot, because you played like 200 plus hour games back to back like you crazy.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you did it.
Yeah, I'm good now. I just want to just load up something and kind of grind to a goal. I even reinstalled the Division 1.
That game doesn't grind to a goal, sir. That game is an everlasting game like everything else.
Right. When it depends on the goal, because in a looter shooter, you can I want to make a certain build, and so there is a goal, and you kind of just grind towards that. I've also been playing Division Survival, and I've been doing that. I 100%ed that game on Xbox, and now I'm just kind of trying to get my Division character at the same level as my Xbox character is. But yeah, I can't play anything that requires me to think. Well, let me rephrase that, because multiplayer games, if you're good, you're thinking. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
I do think, but I'm not really trying to like in the mood to play anything that has me actually having to like listen to a story, dialogue, or read anything. I'm kind of in my uh just straight shooter dude bro mode right now. Um, I would know what. No, here's a perfect. I'm in my sycamore mode. For those who know what I'm talking about, where a good friend of ours, Sycamore, is any game that has any kind of dialogue that goes like 2 or 3 sentences in a row, he immediately says it's too much talking. He just wants to shoot stuff, blow stuff up, and kill things. And which, hey, look, yeah, everyone has their what they enjoy. But I feel like I'm kind of after Metaphor, after Dragon Age of Veilguard, after Slay the Princess, after a bunch of games that are like either RPGs or RPG, like a lot of RPG elements. I'm good right now. So hopefully that I get out of that soon, because I already pre-ordered Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PC.
Another giant game.
Which, yep, and that's coming at the end of the month. I'm gonna play Spider-Man 2. I'm gonna play. I need to just go ahead and play through Ghost of Tsushima on PC so I can beat that for a second time.
Good God.
I'm just but it's just I think I needed a mental break, and so that's where I'm at right now. I'm on mental break, and I've just been up grinding on games. Like you. Do you want to just get into the rapid fire topics? Because I know you wanted to talk about Call of Duty for a bit.
No, yeah, we can go.
All right, so I'm now on Prestige 3, and I kind of feel like I'm looking at like my stats, and in the beginning is like my stats were decent, they were okay, nothing great in my opinion. Other people may look at my stats and be like, "Oh wow, that's really good," or "Oh wow, you're just average SloMo," whatever, right? But for me, it was just okay. My goals in a shooter are different than what other people's goals may be. I wasn't good enough for me though. Like in a group, I'm dominating like crazy. Solo, I'm doing good, but not great. And so I'm like, I want to be dominating solo the way I dominate in a group. And so started working on it, started getting in the lab a bit, and I got better. And now I started to dominate solo the way I dominate in a group. And then the funny thing, and I was telling you about this match earlier. So I'm playing solo, and I'm playing against a full stack. They definitely were a full stack. And I think I was with a almost full stack because these guys quit in the middle of the match. Now I was having a fantastic match, but then next thing I know, like I'm hearing these dudes complaining about dudes camping and sniping and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, whatever. It's typical Call of Duty stuff, whatever. And so like halfway through the match, I think I was like up at like 30 kills, maybe like 12 deaths or something like that. I noticed ain't nobody else on my team killing nothing. And so I look at the scoreboard, I'm by myself. I'm like, oh man, and I hate when this is in the opposite direction, because it's boring at that point. When it's just like 2 or 3 people left, they ain't quitting. And I just sit down in the corner somewhere and just wait for the time because I'm not chasing you around the map, and it's like 2 or 3 people left. But the wild thing is that like I was freaking bodying them. Like I was getting like 3 or 4, 5 kills before they finally killed me. They were getting kind of pissed off because they did the whole grab you, the whole Diddy, move.
Yeah.
Threw me in the corner, and they all just started like beating on me. They just start, river dancing on me. And after the match was over, they were like, you know, GG's, you know, you freaking held your own for a while. And that's why I realized, I was like, yo, Activision about to make my skill-based matchmaking freaking ridiculous after this. And did they? Oh my God. So now I'm like, all right, well, now I gotta level up again. I gotta get better again. Cause now when I play solo, it's like I mean, I'm like, yo, what are these people on?
They got you with the pro, they got you in there with the championship pros.
Bro, I slide around the corner dead. I I respawn dead. I breathe dead. I'm like, bruh, can I dead? Damn, can I get a dead? I'm like, yo, what is happening here? So I gotta, you know, I gotta step up again. But see, this is, I think, when I guess what separates people, and I'm not trying to brag or anything. I'm not saying I'm a great player in Call of Duty.
Stop
I'm not.
it. You are.
I'm not a great player. But I think what the difference between people who really enjoy multiplayer games and people who they just enjoy being good. The people who just enjoy being good in something, when they're not good at it initially, they quit and they call it trash and they say it sucks or whatever, right? But they don't want to learn. They don't want to like actually just say, hey, look, I'm not good at this right now. Look, what do I need to do to get better? What makes me better? Practice that kind of thing. Like, they don't want to do any of that stuff. And so David says, "Are you playing?" Yeah, I'm playing on PC. Well, you know, the wild thing, David, is that it's aimbots and on console as well. If you know, Forte sells the hardware for that.
Yeah, I swear, 2 or 3 times a week, I got a person come in this, but you got that max? Got that max?
So yeah, like, it's aimbots everywhere. You know, unfortunately. I do not partake. I don't want to know.
SloMo's right thumb is an aimbot, just to let y'all know.
Oh, stop it. My right thumb is borderline arthritis in there. But anyway, no, I just that Marvel Rivals is just getting, I'm really enjoying Marvel Rivals. And I think what's helping me continue to play the game, even solo, I'm starting to get into ranked. I'm like nothing in ranked. I've only done like 3 ranked matches. So like I started today. So I don't have like a rank, but I've gotten to the point now where I will play in casual to kind of get warmed up. But now I want to just go into ranked for like actual like enjoying myself play, because in typical hero shooter fashion, and I expected this, and I've said it multiple times on the show, people don't know how to play hero shooters. And I think and with something that's in particular very unique about Marvel Rivals is that I think DPS needs a buff overall, because that's the only explanation I can have on why people who main DPS players are so trash. Everybody that I run into that's a random in random duelist, that's DPS in the in Marvel Rivals, they suck. They absolutely suck. But and I don't quite mind the fact that you suck. What I do mind is your freaking attitude when you suck. I got people like, why are you choosing Penny Parker? You can't get kills with Penny Parker. One, yes, I can.
Why won't you play better?
Yeah, like I'm really good at Penny Parker. Penny Parker's awesome, and I've had matches where I've had 51 kills and 0 deaths with Penny Parker. Shut your mouth. You don't know what you're talking about. That's one. 2, Penny Parker is a tank. She's a vanguard in the game. Getting kills isn't really quite like, you can get kills with her, but that's a more of a secondary assignment, a role. Huh?
51 kills sounds like getting a lot of kills, though.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, you get those matches. I don't think they got skill-based matchmaking
I said you was playing
involved at all.
against a middle school or something.
It was the people I was playing against definitely did not know what they were doing. They weren't targeting the healers, is what you should be doing. They were basically running directly at me and begging me to kill them, and that's what I did. But yeah, there's a lot of people who just don't. Oh, shout out to Yobi. What's up? It's good to see you, man.
What's up, Yobi? Happy New Year, bro.
As well as Mitchie dies a lot. Brian East in the house. What's up, guys? There's a lot of people. Oh, JC as well. JC. There's a lot of people that they don't understand the overall like strategy of a hero shooter. If you're a strategist in that game, which is support, you should be support. Like you shouldn't have Jeff the Land Shark or Dagger, cloak and Dagger, and you're trying to kill the enemy while your tank is like bleeding health right beside you. You should be trying to heal them because that's your freaking role. And it's just like people just don't get it, what their roles are supposed to be. And you just end up with this like, and it's again, I expect it, so I don't quite mind people don't understand how to use the characters. It's just the arrogance of their ignorance. It's just, why are you guys so trash? Why is support not healing? Well, support can't heal if support's dead. you not protecting. They're attacking the healers like they're supposed to, and you're not protecting the healers, so they can't heal you when they're on respawn. Stupid. And it's just like, oh, I learn how to play a hero shooter, man. It's just so I this is what I've been dealing with for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. But I'm having fun though. Even though I'm doing a lot of complaining right now, I'm having a ball with it. Been playing with friends and stuff. It's been a good time. You should join me sometimes, man. Install that game. Let's get it going. I know I've been telling you this, but I'm gonna tell you again.
No.
No.
All
right. Well, I'll keep trying. But what have you been playing? If you haven't been playing Marvel Rivals, what you been playing?
Finishing up Indiana, jumped back into some Battlefield because I haven't played that in like months. I jumped into that. And then I've been playing. That is an adventure when you ain't played it in a while. Oh my God. I felt like the slowest person in the room for a while. But I did that. And then Call of Duty. I finally decided to jump in by myself to experience what life without a sidekick was like. And let me tell you, it's glorious. It's so glorious. Like, the funny thing is, and this is me giving SloMo his flowers, it's not often when I play a shooter that I play with a person that's way better than me. The SloMo's way better than me at Call of Duty.
Oh,
like, way better. It's because you put more time into it. And I always tell people, if you want to get better at something, you got to put time into it. You got to do it when you're with your friends. You got to do it when you're not with your friends. You gotta persevere and go through those tilt sessions where people are killing you to feel like you want to get better, and that's something you do. So that's why I got to give you your flowers for that. So when I play with you on there, I just inherently see just you moving around like, yeah, this dude is just on another level when it comes to this game. He knows everything. And then I really realized it when I went to go play by myself. Pause, go play, I played, yeah.
The way that came out initially.
That's why I said pause. When I went to go play Kill Confirm in Team Deathmatch, and it was on my skill-based matchmaking, and I was like, just observing everything around me. I'm like, yo, this dude, like I told you on the phone, this dude, I have, like, playing with you, I very rarely see a dude run by me and not see me. Matter of fact, I don't think it ever happens. It's like everybody's like with their head on the swivel, which you're supposed to on a shooter. Everybody's dolphin diving around corners and go. That's what they're doing. Every time they like jumping around corners, like just like tackling and stuff. And I'm like, what's really
I'm
going?
absolutely doing that
I
next time we play. I'm
I,
sliding around corners going. I'm just going to
go
do that all around
like
every corner now, yo.
it's just like that's what I be seeing. It's like they just like trying to jump out and get people. I was like, what's going on? So I jump into a game by myself. And he said, yeah, that's a great dolphin impersonation. That's what it is. I had to get
Oh my
flipper.
god.
Oh shoot, man. But no, I was playing and people would just be like slow walking, running straight in line. Like the amount of people that just run in a straight line is baffling.
I don't get it, bro. Like,
how are you? I said, you just make it easy. So yeah, my KD has significantly.
oh my god. Like, I wouldn't even do that in Halo. Like Halo has different movement than I think Call of Duty has the best movement of any first-person shooter.
Especially
And
this
so
one. I agree.
with the freedom that you have, why wouldn't you use it? People be just running like they playing old school Halo Combat Evolved. Like, what are you? Different game, bro. And
It's
you know what? Like different shooters, they play like people just think a first person shooter is a first person shooter. If it's an arena shooter, it's all gonna play the same. Splitgate, Halo, Battlefield, Call of Duty, they're all the same. And people who actually play these games will tell you that. I mean, like being good, you know, there's people who are just naturally good at shooters, you know.
Yeah.
And I know a few people in the community who they're just naturally good. They can pick up a shooter and, you know, give them a couple of matches and they own it, you know. But to be truly good at the game, it's not. You're not just going to do that like, oh, I'm just, you know, I'm bodying everybody, unless you're just playing like, you know, no disrespect to this community, but if you're just playing a bunch of people in the community, like a lot.
That is like offense to the community.
Okay.
Basically, what he's saying now, if you ain't out here showcasing your KD, you know who we talking about.
No.
There are some people out there that talk a lot of junk about how good they are, but then, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but I think most people in the community, I think most people in the community understand that they're like just okay at the game, you know, and I think sometimes people think if they can body a lobby of guys playing like Halo together on customs, that like it really means something. It don't really mean anything. You just body like, you know, a dozen people who just now on your level, you know. But what I mean is that like to be really good at a game, you got to it takes time to get good at it. And then as you're getting good at it, you start to realize, oh, doing like for Halo example, ADS is not your friend in Halo. Like that's not at all. Like you need to be learning movement and aiming without aim down sight, which because I haven't played Halo in so long. I'm probably if I install Halo Infinite right now, I'd be trash. Because it's a whole different mentality than like playing, you know, the shooters that I've been playing. Whereas like, and I kind of felt it a little bit when Splitgate did their most recent playtest, and I played it, and it took me maybe about 3 or 4 matches to kind of remember. Because Splitgate's definitely one of those games where it's like the shooting, you think, oh, it's like a mix of Halo and Call of Duty. Okay. And then, especially with the way the first game was, because let's say the playtest, I'm talking about Splitgate 2, that is, to be clear. Splitgate 1, a lot of people played it and they was like, oh man, this is an easy shooter. I'm killing everything. But what they didn't realize, and something that I knew, because I had been playing the game for like months before it got the consoles, because it was on PC first. Your first 15 levels, they protect you from the veteran players.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't really agree with the approach, because I think it contributed to people quitting the game. because they thought it was something that it wasn't. They thought that the portals were a novelty. Oh, I can portal across the map. Okay, let me open the portal here. And I'm on the other side of the map. Let me go to their spawn and try to take them out. You know, people would use it like sparingly, but they wouldn't use it as a core competency of the game, or really learning the map and where the portals are and how to do it effectively and seamlessly in a way where you're not thinking about it. And they're just basically just running around and shooting and killing people, and the gunplay's good, and so they enjoyed the game. And then they hit level 15, and then now they realize, oh, from levels 1 to 15, I was just playing new players like myself who also don't understand portals, and bots, like real bots. And oh no, like especially if you played Splitgate and you saw the name X CS:GO player, yeah, we all saw that name. That was a bot. That guy. You were tearing him up. You thought he was really killing this. No, it's a bot. It's a bot with terrible AI. They wanted you to get familiar with the game and get familiar with portals and get comfortable with it before they expose you to the demons on the game. And them dudes, they are they're Nightcrawler. They're just teleporting all across the map through the portals and shooting you in the back of the head, and you don't even know what's going on. And like, you have to just get better at it, learn portal usage, learn to hear the sound of a portal being opened behind you, move out the way, shoot through the portal, where the aim in the portal that you're typically hitting what would be upper head to center mass on the person, so you can kill people who are doing that. Like, there's a whole strategy to it, and it comes from getting better at the game. But then a lot of people don't want to get better at games. When it gets difficult and they kind of hit a wall, they just drop it and move on to something else, which is like, I'm not telling you have to get better, but just, it's not impossible. I think that's the feeling a lot of people get. They feel like it's impossible, but it's not. Yeah.
No, it's very interesting when you sit back and you kind of just think about it in general. But yeah, but I kind of get exactly where you come from on that. But people just some people just don't take the time to just, like, it's not like we're going back to like Marvel Rivals. Like, it's not like Overwatch hasn't been around for almost a decade.
Right.
Like, people
it's a lot of the same archetypes. Tracer, Star-Lord is basically Tracer. Like, if you know how to play Tracer in Overwatch, play Star-Lord like Tracer, and you will get, of course there's some differences, right? His ultimate's very different, and he's got some different abilities. But as far as like with Tracer, the best way to use Tracer, because she has like no health, right, in Overwatch, is to, when you're reloading, you're using her blink ability to kind of keep moving and not being like moving in a straight line or something like that, making it more difficult to hit her. And she's faster than everyone else. You have to use that to your advantage. And then once you get low on health, you use her rewind ability to rewind back to a certain point so that she has more health and she's further away from the people that are killing her. Star-Lord has I'm thinking on controller, so I'm saying left trigger. But the left trigger with Star-Lord allows him to do like all this like kind of like acrobatic flips and stuff like that, but it makes him harder to hit.
Yeah.
And you do that when you're reloading. So you shoot as you're reloading, you do movement so that you're not a sitting duck, because he also doesn't have a ton of health. He's a duelist. And so like, you play the game, like there are similarities there, but despite them having those similarities, the game still has a lot of differences. And shoot, since we're talking about it, they announced today something that's coming with the new season in like a week. They're bringing in the entire Fantastic Four. So Thing, Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, all four of them, new characters coming in. I'm like, that's what you need to do in order to kind of keep people engaged. Because I'm still trying to learn characters. You know, I just started to learn Storm. And Storm is very different than the other duelists because she's kind of like a assist machine. She's if you know how to do her use her correctly, you do damage with her, but she's really like a buff, debuff kind of character. And if you really take the time, you could spend so much of your gaming time learning all of these different characters and how they play. I think at this point, any hero shooter that comes out, you need to have like more than 20 characters for real. You need to have a lot of characters so that people can find something that really like speaks to them, and then spend the time to master those characters. But I would say, and I know you want to move on. The one thing I think is a kind of a negative for Marvel Rivals, I don't think the cosmetics are very good. I actually think a lot of the cosmetics kind of bland.
I kind of feel like cosmetics have kind of fallen off in a lot of these type of games, except for like Fortnite.
David says, do people want to learn new characters with new skill set requirements, or do they want to have their favorite and meta characters? I would say it's the latter.
It's the latter. Absolutely.
It's definitely the latter. I am the former, but I feel I will freely admit I'm in the minority on that. I think most people just want to play with their favorite characters, which is why I see so many people choosing characters they don't know how to play or they're not good at. And they're not doing them well. And just like, you got people playing Iron Man and they're like all close to the ground. And I'm like, bruh, they're like in the fray, like they're a tank. I'm like, sir, you are 3 for 12 right now. I need you to I need you to have a come to Jesus moment, okay? I need you to realize, you know, who you are, and who you are is not that guy.
They trying to convince people that Tony Hawk does have a heart. That's all it is.
But I think, and okay, so I'll use myself as an example. I told myself I wanted to master at least 2 characters in each class, so I'll always have a character to go to, and I can also balance out a team. I'll always wait until everyone else chooses before I choose my character, because I want to kind of, you know, I want to help the team win. If you got nothing but duelists on, you know, on our team, that's, you know, I can tell you right before the match even starts, we're going to lose. The problem I have with the skins is not all the skins are good. Some characters have more than others, you know, makes sense. Like, you know, Tony Stark, Iron Man's got more skins than like in the store, as well as where you can earn than say Cloak and Dagger. But I don't want to buy skins for a character I'm not going to use. So I'm not trying to use Iron Man. So I'm not buying that. But I want better looking skins for Cloak and Dagger, and the skins they got in the store look like some weird like tree thing growing off of Dagger, and like Cloak's got some weird mask on, and I'm just like, yeah, that don't appeal to me at all. But that's the only option in the store right now, outside of like a color variant.
That gives you a reason not to spend money, though.
True, but then that's
you should
good
be happy.
For me.
It's good for
that's
you.
Not good for them, because like, you know, if I'm not spending money in their game right now, I bought the Penny Parker Venom skin because Penny's one of my characters that I main, and Dwayne says he likes that skin, and that's cool, you know. But it don't appeal to me. My problem is not that like the skin doesn't appeal to me, so that's terrible. But that's the only real option. Like, you don't have more options for me to kind of like decide on. I feel like you should have more than that at this point. I do like the Penny skin that where it's like Venom, but that's the only one that's really in the store. So if you didn't like the Penny skin and you main Penny, you're pretty much kind of just, you're not buying anything. You're stuck with the main skin. And I feel like they're kind of losing the potential for revenue that way.
Yeah, they definitely are. You're not lying.
Yeah,
they're definitely losing revenue. But I'm going to do one more rapid fire. I came across a one of your tweets, and it really spoke to me. You're talking about the interview with Ken Levine about
Oh yeah.
yeah, about story development and how developers kind of just get in their own way when it comes to like trying to tell that type of story and not removing themselves from it. Why would you go off? Because like I went into it, but I know you actually like listened to the whole interview and you had some really interesting things to say on Twitter about it. Why won't you go ahead and tell people what you were talking about?
Yeah, so shout out to game industry.biz that did the interview. I think that was them. There's so many interviews I've been
It's so
reading
many.
recently.
It's a lot of them.
Um yeah, I think that was them.
I'll tell you
But
though.
yeah, wait. It was GameIndustry.biz. They did an interview with Ken Levine. You know, his game Judas is coming out this year. And so, you know, like the interview, I thought it was a great interview. I recommend everyone who's into gaming, absolutely. If you're into gaming, you should read this interview because he talks on a number of different subjects, a lot of hot button topics that people have been discussing pretty frequently over the past year. But and the question was about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And he did, and it wasn't specifically about, you know, DEI or anti-DEI kind of stuff, but just about the fact that like Ubisoft is implementing a canon mode in the game. So apparently there are like parts of the story where your choices matter. So you make a decision and you know that affects how the story goes, so on and so forth. They have a canon mode where you don't even like, I guess your choice is there is no choice. It's just like whatever the canon story is what occurs naturally. And uh he was asked about it, what his thoughts were on it, and then he kind of said like he kind of felt that maybe they didn't really feel their direction. They weren't very strong in it. But you know, then he started to kind of like go off on a tangent, but something that really like really spoke to me, and I'll read the quote here, what he said. He said, I really try not to overly insert myself into that decision because it doesn't matter in regards to um endings and what people like, or you know, like how they interpret a story. He said the user's experience of the art is central, not the artist's experience of the art. Art is the intersection of the art and the person viewing the art. It's different for every painting, every song, every book, every game. If you read a book when you're young and then you read it again when you're old, that's a different book, right? And that's beautiful, man. I never want to take that away from you. And so he went on to kind of talk about like BioShock Infinite, for example, and how like a lot of people come up to him and say, yo, what did the actual ending of BioShock Infinite actually mean? And his answer is always, well, what did it mean to you? And a lot of times I've felt like I felt that's a cop out sometimes, but because I think and there are times where people just literally or developers literally just don't know how to end something, and they just do something and then go, hey, it means whatever to mean. And it's just like, all right, bro. But I can kind of feel what he's saying here because it's really like, and to what my thought was in this, as I put it on X, Twitter, or whatever, is, you know, a lot of developers these days, it seems like their goal seems to be solely focused on what the artist's experience is, and not necessarily what the user, the larger audience that's going to consume this content's experience is. Like they don't care how you feel. They're just doing what they're doing. And I feel like that's kind of backwards because you're making a piece of art content to be consumed. There are people who are going to consume this. If it's a very personal experience for yourself, that's great. But you got to understand that, like, if this is a AAA project that costs like hundreds of millions of dollars, making an experience that's only going to resonate with like you and maybe like 100 or 200 other people tops that have felt the same isn't quite like that's not going to work. Like, you need to make
Right.
something that there has to be a balance there. There has to be a balance between what your value, the values you want to push into this content is, and actually delivering a product that people care to play.
Hmm.
And if you don't do that, you can't be mad when people are like, I ain't want to play your game, bro. Why are you these pretentious a-hole gamers not trying to play? I'm like, nah, don't pigeonhole them and call them names and say all these things because they didn't like what you showed of the game. And I'm not talking about the people who are clearly racist and just don't want to play as a black character or a woman or oh, I don't like that this woman's hairstyle is that she's bald headed. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that, like, if the writing of the story isn't good, and they're like, yo, like, you're kind of trying to push a entire storyline here that's completely irrelevant to what the actual story is. Like, why is this here? Doesn't make any sense. Those kind of things is what I'm talking about. Or just adding things to a game that you can just tell is so completely separate from what anything else of the game that seems to be, a tightly knit game is, and then you got this completely other experience over here on the side. It's just like, why is this even here? Who made this decision? And acting as if the players' opinions don't mind. I see a lot of arrogance in some of what these developers say in regards to this, and act as if the gamers who are paying money to buy your content aren't supposed to have an opinion on it, or have their own personal feeling on how it is. Like, and clearly, if they said they loved it, you wouldn't dismiss their opinions. It just seems like people are allergic to constructive criticism these days. So yeah, I thought
But
it
that's
was
kind of always been the conversation around that, though. It's like the
go ahead.
constructive criticism, a lot of people don't really know how to take. It's like we always talk about, like, the closer you are to a scenario, the harder it is for you to take criticism, especially when it's something that you are deeply passionate in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, it took me, even as a leader, it took me a while to learn criticism, leading other people and stuff in certain avenues. So I can understand that being the thing, but we also know that that has to be something that is a focal point of your development, and you having to know when to kind of step back, walk away, and knowing exactly what's needed versus, when you're doing too much. And I think the that is the fine line that you have to walk, especially when you are talking about leading a studio of that size. I mean, you go back when he was like at Irrational and stuff like that. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people said the culture at Irrational was amazing, and that's because I remember they really didn't grind out as hard as most other developers did to get games like BioShock and stuff out the door. They made sure that they took their time to do things like that. And then going back to the point where I was talking about, where he talks about his overall ability to make sure that he's not getting in the way of the development by like putting himself inside of it. It's like when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
like what he wants to see in the game, you can understand what kind of story you want to make, but does that story reflect you and the team and what you guys want to build, or just like more of a build around what you want it to be? Like, there's a happy medium in there, and I think a lot of developers don't really do that when it comes to their games, or at least they don't succeed on a level that most other developers do succeed in.
Yeah.
So,
And I think I talked about how, if you got like $100 million plus budget, like, I'm not trying to be corporate slow mo here, but like, it's difficult to get a publisher or a platform to sign off on spending that much money on something that you can't even like tell me how big of an audience really wants to play that, you know?
Right.
And a lot of that stuff is great for like the indie scene. Like and this is why I really enjoy indie games. Yes, a lot of it will end up being a miss. There's a lot of indie games that just, you know, had a great idea. It's just the execution wasn't there for whatever reason. Maybe they didn't have the resources,
Right.
maybe they didn't have the time or the talent to make it happen. But you know, the innovation that we see in this industry, it comes from indie development. And that's typically where you see a bigger publisher or platform will see those ideas and say, "Oh, that worked." And people like that. Okay, let's see if we can implement something similar to that into what we're working on. And then you start to see that stuff applied in bigger avenues. But you know, it takes some proving to make that happen. And again, there's balance in that too, because I think sometimes, you know, these publishers or platforms are so risk averse that they basically just give you the same thing over and over and over again,
Right.
and don't realize why people have stopped caring about a particular IP or a particular kind of genre, you know, because it's just like there's nothing new here, there's nothing exciting or unique, and so there's a balance in that too. But you indie games, and I see a lot of indie developers when they have like they're being realistic. They don't expect to sell 1 million copies of their game.
They don't.
But you
Yeah.
know, if they break even and make a little money on the side or enough money to make another game, then like they're cool with that. It's what they expect and anticipated for, you know, a smaller team with a smaller budget using something like a Unity engine. You know, it is what it is. And I I think managing expectations is important because I shout out to Brian East in the chat who said like if you don't like the show, don't watch it. This is
Don't
not for
watch it.
you.
It's not
Yeah,
for you.
we've seen that in gaming where people, if you don't like the game, don't play it. It's not for you, and then they get mad when nobody buys their game. But you told them, you know. Shout out to Volition, or rest in peace, Volition, who doesn't exist no more. But you know, that's what they said about the Saints Row reboot. You know, if you don't like it, don't play it. It's not for you. Well, a lot of people didn't like it, and a lot of people didn't play it, and your studio got shut down. So
Mm-hmm.
who you know, is that what you wanted? Because clearly that wasn't what you wanted. And maybe you should listen to player feedback because they're the people that are going to want to play your game. Shout out to Luca because Luca says this all the time about that Saints Row. She was a Saints Row fan, and she's like, you know, here's Jeff, and Jeff doesn't have a shirt on. Like, this is not good marketing
Yeah.
at all. What are you doing? That's not, you know, like the tone of that reboot didn't match what people expected based upon what the IP is.
Right.
You know,
You,
like
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
I'm saying, you know, and that's and Luca's like a really good case study to that because, or good point to that because she loves Saints Row and that's kind of where she fell off after that. And it's like, you know, we're gonna talk about it later with Marathon, but that's why you see Bungie coming out with these videos with the director telling you about a game and trying to get you hyped up and trying to get engagement around it and telling you that it's we do this for you and we do this for everybody. This isn't for us, you know. Yeah, we know they enjoy it. They love making the games that they make. But if they don't make a game that people enjoy, and that starts at the focal point of the enjoyment of the gamer or the consumer in this case, then it's not going to work. It's not going to sell. It's not going to stand out amongst other games and stuff. So that's just what needs to happen. But some developers, you know, or some publishers, you know, they want to make the games that they want to make, and that's fine. But if you do that, just run the risk of knowing that your game may not succeed.
Yep.
So I find all that really really interesting. But you know, with that being said, let's get into the first real topic. Let's talk about some Black Myth. You know, it's been going on since September. Actually, it's been going on longer than that. Whenever the heck this game came out, and it was being in Xbox Series S was the reason it didn't come to Xbox because it was having issues with frame rates and all that other crazy stuff. And then Xbox gamers got mad about it, and PlayStation people was chirping back and forth like another exclusive that Xbox lost because their lower tier system can't handle it. And we're still waiting for Black Myth to come over. But there's a lot of stuff, game science developers have been coming out talking about different things. Phil Spencer's come out and said that Series S is not the reason this game's being, held back from releasing on other platforms. So you have like this civil war that's going on everywhere. It's between Xbox, between game science, between the gamers and everything. Let's make some sense of this, SloMo. Like, ever since this game's come out, we know it was in a game of the year conversation, and you never want to see a situation where a game that is a game of the year contender not make it to your platform. It's a bad look. But what is your thoughts on just where this is going and how it's been handled ever since the release of this game?
Well, I mean, let me just say this, right?
Speak.
There,
You always do.
let's just talk about what all the sides are saying, and then I'm just going to say what I think it is. So the game's now on Xbox, and there is no current timetable on when it will show up on Xbox. Game Science probably knows. Xbox might know. Who knows? They ain't telling us, right? The game was on PlayStation, on PC, and it wasn't on Xbox. Game Science says that the Xbox Series S is the reason why the game isn't on the platform, and that and Microsoft forces parity. If you're going to put the game out on the Xbox Series X, it needs to be on the Xbox Series S. Therefore, it's not there. Through multiple people in the media, Jez Corden and was it Tom Warren, the other one? I can't remember who the other. They are saying that they've heard from Microsoft. They've had conversations with Microsoft where Xbox is saying they didn't quite say an exclusivity deal, but there's some kind of deal in place with PlayStation where it is not being allowed to be on Xbox. So who's telling the truth here? This is what I think is going on, what I think happened and what's going on right now. If you ever read Jason Schreier's first book, I think Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
A lot of the stories, each chapter is a story about a game that went through a lot of crunch, trials, and tribulations. Some of them failed, some of them didn't. But each of those games, a lot of them you would like, especially when it came to a third-party game that is being made for a particular platform. You would kind of see in the conversations the breakdown of like how a developer would speak with a producer of the platform. And for example, I'll use Obsidian, for example, with a game called I think it was called Stormlands. It never got released. And it was supposed to be a launch title or close to launch for the Xbox One. Long story short, it's a bit too ambitious for what the hardware was capable of doing at that time. And I would say probably might be too ambitious for, actually, no, I think 33 Immortals might be able to have the spirit of that. So maybe it's possible now. It just wasn't possible then. But regardless of that, like something that was pointed out within the chapter was that there was an Xbox producer that was working with Obsidian, and that producer was kind of like the interface, the middleman, the voice of the platform and what the platform was looking for, and agreeing to when it comes to budgets and agreeing to milestones, that kind of stuff through game development with that developer. And I've seen, not just through that book, but other indie developers talk about working with producers for PlayStation, and having difficulty getting things that they needed, having difficulty with getting feedback. And I guess this is something that just like all the console platforms deal with, and not really giving people a good responses back to questions they have. I'm getting a little off tangent. Let me get back to the point here.
No, you're good.
The point is that Black Myth Wukong has been a highly anticipated game since its first reveal. They first showed a 15-minute gameplay demonstration, vertical slice of the game, and it took the entire gaming industry by storm. And they announced this game was a multi-platform game that was intended to come out on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. This was the expectation from the very start, which means that Game Science would have had a Xbox producer that they would engage with.
Mm-hmm.
And if apparently PlayStation's producers were a bit more vocal and had built up a better relationship with Game Science than the Xbox producers did. Why do I say that? Well, because at some point in time, Game Science was having difficulties getting the game on PlayStation, and PlayStation actually sent people to help them. Didn't hear anything about that whatsoever with Xbox. And to add to that, let's look at Baldur's Gate 3, which came out in 2023. And they also had difficulty with a particular mode of their game working on the Xbox Series S. Why wasn't the Xbox producer, working with Larian Studios aware of this and working towards a solution, which eventually ended up happening? Phil Spencer had to make the move to send Xbox engineers to Larian Studios to help them get this working and to make some concessions on the whole parity thing. Why am I bringing this up? Why are you bringing this up, SloMo? If they had difficulties with the Xbox Series S, let's take Game Science for their word. If they had difficulties with the Xbox Series S, I agree with the Xbox guys that say, then why does Hellblade 2 run on the Xbox Series S? Yep. Why do other Unreal Engine 5 games run on the Xbox Series S? Why does Indiana Jones, which was, considered the best looking game to come out this past year, run on the Xbox Series S? It can run. Black Myth Wukong can run on the Xbox Series S. The problem is that Xbox didn't do anything to help them when they realized this was an issue, or never realized it was an issue until they found themselves not being listed in game trailers anymore. And that's the problem. When you have producers that's supposed to work with high value clients, game developers with highly anticipated games, and they're not, if there's a problem, find a solution. We have games that we consider far more demanding than your game running on this platform. Let's figure it out. Are your assets too expensive? Let's see what we can do to lower the budget of those things. What can we do? Are you not quite using the tools that we have available? Let's figure it out. But you can't be behind the 8-ball and then after the game's about to launch or has already launched, now you want to send the engineers to help. It's too late.
Too late, yeah.
You've now unofficially created a console exclusive accidentally. And if Sony said, hey, the tools we provided you to get this done, this is a hypothetical. I don't know if this is true. But if Sony provided tools that they created to help them in game development when it comes to Unreal Engine 5 games on their platform, and they tell Game Science, use that on the Xbox. The things they learned to get that game running on PS5, which I would say at launch did not run that great. I mean, it don't run that great on PC either. So it ain't exactly the most optimized game. But if they did that and then they said, hey, you can't use these tools to help your game development on Xbox, you have more of just yourself to blame there, because as your producers are supposed to work with these developers to make sure they have everything they need to make sure that the games that you demand have parity on your platform aren't a hindrance. You can't introduce more development, more issues for a developer. Now they got to do 2 different SKUs for the Xbox Series S and X to put their game on your platform compared to your competition where it's just 1 SKU. You can't introduce additional work but don't provide additional resources to make sure that work gets done. So it's just, what are we doing here? Arodimus says SloMo blames the customer, not the producer, for the game not coming to Xbox. Xbox is not the customer. We are the customer. Xbox is licensing out their product to other developers in a partnership to sell games to us, the customer. When they fail to provide the resources available because they lack the communication skills, that's a failure on their part. Much like the indie developer who was trying to release his game on Xbox and couldn't, and had to escalate it to talking about it publicly on Twitter in order to get the attention of people on Xbox that their development back end had a bug that didn't allow him to upload his build for certification. Why does he need to go to social media to do that when he sent them emails for months about this issue and it went ignored? This is their problem. This is their issues that they need to work out. And this will continue to happen until they do so. They will continue to have games miss their platform, become unintentional, accidental exclusives until they fix how their business process works. I'm not blaming the Xbox Series S. I'm blaming them. Because this game could be running on the Xbox Series S right now. Probably not great. Probably not great, but it would be running. And their game, and the people who have an Xbox Series X and want to play on Xbox Series X, they'll be enjoying it. But that's not happening. And it should be happening, but hey, look, if you don't communicate and you don't spend the time to make sure that highly anticipated games are good, if you aren't having regular meetings with your producers to say, hey, John, you're the one that signed the Game Science. John, how's things going with Game Science and Black Myth? Oh, I wanted to talk about that. Glad you brought it up. They're having issues with the Series S. We need to handle this. There's a memory constraints issue with the assets that they have. Let's send some people out to help them lower their memory usage here or there to make sure this works. Okay, whatever. We'll get that on the schedule. Like these things should have been happening over a year ago, not after the game is already launched. Yes, you, John Wolf, you, that John.
Yeah. Who, me?
But no, I'm just saying this is these are problems that can be rectified, but I don't know whose job this is. I don't know whose issue it is to resolve the mishandling of this that consistently keeps happening. It's not on the developer when you have a mandate, and then it's partially on them for, I guess, a lack of experience. This is their first time making a AAA game, so lack of experience, right? But it's not like, okay, so you have a lack of experience here. you know, oh well, figure it out. Well, not oh well, the game's now on your platform. So now you got players who only own an Xbox that can't play this game. And how are they going to play it now? They're going to go either to PC or they're going to go buy themselves a PlayStation and play it. So you're pushing people to the other, platform that's supposed to be your competition, supposedly. So it's your problem. You got to fix it.
Man, Xbox. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the first thing that I thought of when I saw this all pop up again. I was like, in my mind, I was like, damn, this is like old. And it's like we keep recycling it. It's like, why? It's like, first of all, this game's been out for a while now. And I get it. I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like the amount of energy people are putting behind this is just weird, because if you really like, a lot of people are putting so much energy behind like they want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if you really wanted to play this, you would have found a way to play it already. Like the amount of energy.
You know what that is.
No, I'm just saying.
You know
the
what
amount,
that is. Yeah.
The amount, like, listen, no, seriously, the amount of energy people are putting into this conversation on a game that's been out for 3-4 months almost now is weird. I'm like, dog, if you really wanted to play this game, I understand it's not on Xbox. I'm one of those people that feel like, dang, Xbox just missed another opportunity to have a great game. To have another great game on their system. But here we are arguing about a game that Xbox fully has control to be able to help them get this game on their platform, because like you just said, all of these other high tier games that run on Unreal Engine are running on the Series S.
Sir.
Like you said, go ahead, SloMo.
Sir, there are people who still ain't played Final Fantasy VII Remake. Claim they want to play it. Still ain't played it yet.
But at least I'll give those people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No. Claim they want to play it.
True.
But it's not on their preferred platform.
That's true.
I don't think you
really don't want to play it.
Yeah, I don't think you want to play it. Because if you wanted to play it, you would have played it by now. You would have played it on PC, or you would have played it on PlayStation. You would not have waited this for in a complete zero timeline for this game coming to Xbox. You would not have been waiting years now. That game came out in what, 2019, 2020?
Yep.
So we at like 5-6 years. You still ain't played the game. You don't want to play it. It's now they're now working on the third part of this. The second part is out as well, and not on Xbox. Do you want to play the game, brother? If you want to play the game, go get something. You could go get a cheap PS4 for $100 off eBay. Get the game from Forte's GameStop for the pocket change in your pocket and play the game right now. Oh, but I'm not going to get achievements. I can't play with an Xbox controller. You sound like you got a lot of excuses for something that you really just don't want to do. What it sounds to me is people care more about the fact that someone else in this imaginary war they got going on has a one-up on them. Oh, we got this, but you don't, kind of deal. And they not even playing the game either. Y'all in this, this make-believe debate argument about games that none of y'all play or want to play. Because clearly, if everybody was buying that game like crazy, Square Enix wouldn't be talking about putting it everywhere and putting all their games everywhere. Every 5 seconds, they're like, by the way, we're putting our games on all platforms. Just want to let you know. Everything. All of it. We're going to put that games everywhere now. Like, if the game was selling like that, they on the platforms that it was on, they wouldn't be saying that kind of energy. But It is what it is. It's too many people talking about stuff that they really don't want. They just want to be able to say we got it.
Yeah, I get it, but don't y'all get tired, man, of not this chat, but I'm just saying, don't people just get tired of this dog and pony show about what my console got, what yours don't got? It's like y'all don't even play games anyway, so who cares? Like half the people that talk like that don't even really play games. And the other half that do talk like that, that do play games, are doing it for a content creation standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
At least I understand their point. It's the people that like you ain't making no content. Your content consists of going on Twitter, twiddling your thumbs in a conversation that you truly really don't care about, but you just care about the overall narrative that you can spin for whatever piece of plastic you like the most, or to look good to your so-called friends that's on X or Blue. Well, it's not really on Blue Skies. They haven't been indoctrinated yet, but that's just, it's just weird to see that that's the conversation that we be having consistently. And when I saw this popped up, I was like, man, we've been talking about this game not being on an Xbox for 4 months now. And then and this is the funny thing. When I go look at the story that they're sourcing, they source Paul Tassie's interview, well, his article from September 3rd. Dog, it's 2025. We start the brand new year talking about something that's 3 months old. It's 2025, bro. That's like, listen, and shout out to Fame. I don't know if you saw it. Fame did a stream the other day, and he was just he spoke some truth.
Shout out to Fame.
Yeah,
And
shout out to
Level One
Fame.
Gaming. Shout
And
out to
Level
him.
One- He spoke some truth in his stream. He was basically telling people, it's like, listen, the console war is over. You know, we got people that's fighting the fight on one side that Xbox ain't fighting with you, and then we got people on the other side fighting the fight that just because they want to make fun of the other side. Everybody just needs to stop. We just need to come to a conclusion that Xbox gave up. They gave up. This is why I keep telling people, enjoy the games that you have. Like if you really want to play Black Myth Wukong, go get a PC. Go get a PlayStation. Play the game. Don't worry about where the game is, because you should have the option to buy it. Now, if you're one of those people that don't have the avenue to be able to afford all these different consoles and stuff, I get it, but that's how it's always been. You got to kind of prioritize that type of stuff and know that if PlayStation is going to get more of those type of exclusive games and Xbox hasn't been doing it for like a generation, you kind of know where you need to go, and screw console and screw the fact that you want to be loyal to a console. But that's where we are now. But this whole thing with the developer, I agree with you 100%. I think Xbox definitely could have got this working on their system. They did it with their own platforms, and they did it with Baldur's Gate 3. They got it running. They just don't have split screen on the Series S, but it's available on the Series X. So they found a way to like help them get that game moving and working on that platform. And I do agree, if Xbox isn't helping them get this on there, it's not a big enough priority for them to do it. I feel like Xbox has their own lane that they're moving in, and that lane doesn't include getting third-party games that skip the platform earlier in the year on their platform. If this was like a newer game, like say if this was a game that was coming out in March or April of this year, a brand new IP or something like that isn't out yet, I think Xbox might have a different thought process on it. But I feel like they feel like they already missed the boat on this one, because in my mind, I think Xbox is thinking just like everybody else is thinking. If you wanted to play Black Myth Wukong, you would have played it already. And the sales that we're going to get by, getting this game on the system, yeah, they would be nice, but are they going to be life-changing? Are they going to be like 1 to 2 million extra sales of this game for us to put the effort to pull away from other projects that we're working on in order to do it? And Microsoft is saying, nope, I don't think we like y'all that much because y'all didn't support us through an entire generation. So why would we do this? So, that's just kind of how I think Microsoft and X has kind of been thinking for like the last couple of months. And it's very unfortunate, but that's why I say, just if you want to be an Xbox gamer, just be happy. I'm not going to say you don't complain if Xbox is doing something wrong that you don't like inside of their ecosystem. Talk away. But when it comes to like the conversation around old games, and like you said, with Final Fantasy Rebirth and Final Fantasy 7, at this point you should believe that it's not coming to your platform until all three options are out for people to play, and the Ultimate Edition with all three games is out. That's when you're going to get it on Xbox at this point, because Square Enix pretty much said that they're not going to be skipping Xbox anymore when it comes to the platform. So just think that after all of said and done, and whatever little agreement they got with PlayStation, that's when you're going to get Final Fantasy. Black Myth, it's going to come at some point. We don't know. But, trying to like drum up a conversation from 3 months ago about why it's not there is it's just not it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. Shout out to Floodzilla in the chat, who is a rabid AMD fanboy. He told me that the CEO of AMD is his dream girl, which is sad, because she looks like Kim Jong-un with lipstick, but that's fine. Good shout out for her. At AMD, they are, they got the best CPU on the market and the worst GPUs at the same time. Anyway, that's my slander for the night.
Slander that man, stuff like that, bro. He don't know that it's that bad. He ain't know it was that bad out here, bro. But no. All right, let's move to the next topic. Let's talk about Bungie. Bungie had I forget what is his name. I forget this whole detached. I used to know every developer at Bungie, and now I can't remember none of them. But they had
I was just looking at a video. I can't remember his name.
It was the lead.
He's been the lead director for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the previous one got dropped.
Got dropped. Yeah, but yeah, they came out with a update video for Marathon. They also announced that they're hiring over 200 people.
His name is Joe Ziegler.
Joe Ziegler, that's his name. So many Joes so many Joes that work there. Jesus Christ! But they probably call him by last name now. They probably just call him Zig or something like that. But
Zig, what's up, Zig?
What's up, Zig? I know, seriously.
Ziegler.
No, seriously. The GameStop that used to be when I first got hired at GameStop, the GameStop that was right down the street from my home store, they had they had 5 mics that worked there. So we always called them by their last name. It was like Costine, Shaneler, Foresight. It's like we never called them by their first name because it's like, which mic am I talking to? So it's just like a whole nother thing. Every time I hear Bungie, like Joe, it's like Joseph Staten worked there for a while before, his story got declined. And, that's the end of that one. But when it comes to this conversation, they came out in an interview. Joe Ziegler came out and talked about the state of the game, where the game is, gave some little updates on the progression and where they are in the game. They told everybody if you are on a PlayStation, PC, or Xbox, you can wish list the game, and that will let them know that you have interest in the game, and they'll make sure that you're one of the people to get, follow-up info, like, when they're going to do open betas or open alphas, because they do want to bring more of the community in on that. But I think the more interesting thing in this whole conversation is just the tone of it, SloMo, for me. Watching that interview made me feel like this isn't Bungie that I've known before. The Bungie I knew before would just talk about the game and then drop a trailer, and then there it is, and everybody's excited. It felt like they were forcing them to talk about this game, because they were talking about their socials. They were talking about, following them on those. And I've never really heard Bungie talk about following them on social media. Make sure you follow the hashtag and everything like that. It feels like this game is not tracking well when it comes to social media. And that's why they are trying to get the word out, like, hey, this is what this game is about. You got this, and we'll show you concept art of this one character that we call the sneaker or the silencer or whatever the heck they called it. And I was like, it just felt forced. It didn't feel natural. And it felt like let's be real, these are companies, so they're always trying to sell you something. This literally felt like they were trying to sell you a game that's supposed to come out this year without really showing you anything. What were your thoughts, SloMo?
Uh, you know, I think I've mentioned this before, but I feel like every time, like, I was listening to him speak on it, and I remember reading some things about what the game is supposed to be like, and it kept reminding me of a extraction shooter that I played a few years ago, and it didn't last very long. This game lasted maybe a year before
Mm-hmm.
it got shut down. On PC, it was timed exclusive to, actually, I think it was just a PC game. Now I think about it, I think it was timed exclusive to the Epic Game Store, which probably contributed to its downfall. If you know how PC gamers are when it comes to the Epic Game Store, but it wasn't a bad game. You know, it's probably the only extraction shooter that I actually somewhat enjoyed. But, and I'm not saying it's exactly that, but a lot of the things that he was speaking about in the video were game design and gameplay elements that were present, and they're kind of present in a lot of extraction shooters, but they were definitely, like, really spoke to me about that game. So if you ever decide, like, if you got the free time, go on YouTube, look up Scavengers game, look at that gameplay. I'm anticipating that Marathon will likely be a first person perspective of that game. I actually think it came out like 3 years ago. I think about it, but yeah, like a first person perspective of that kind of game would make sense to me, with, you know, the kind of art direction that we saw from the reveal trailer. Is that going to work? I don't know, because Scavengers. I think if Scavengers, you know, despite its you know, storefront exclusivity, I feel like if Scavengers was really like the hotness, that it would still be alive. I think people would have not cared about the platform truly, and would have kept playing it. Um, I don't know about this game overall. I have a I don't know about extraction shooters in general. I feel like it's a live service genre that has limited spots available for other games that are already established. Like, there's Escape from Tarkov, those kind of games where they got their players, and it's going to be really difficult to get people to leave Tarkov to go play your game. And I don't know. I don't know if they. I think they kind of probably would have been better suited to making Marathon more along something that it was more like originally than where they took it, or maybe something a bit more familiar to people who are familiar with their content overall. But I don't know, man. It's weird to me that here we are, and this game is supposed to be out before. I know. I actually think this one got pushed beyond their fiscal year, so that's not a problem. Fair games is definitely something we should talk about then.
Yeah, we could transition
Because,
into that.
well, I mean, we don't have to right now, but I can finish
Okay.
my point on Marathon. But this game's supposed to be coming out this calendar year, and we still haven't seen a lick of gameplay. And that's very similar to how things turned out with Concord, where we didn't see any gameplay of it whatsoever until, what, 3 months before launch. And then, you
Yeah.
know, a lot of people were disappointed in what the game was. I remember when they first showed the gameplay, a lot of people had a lot of ideas of what they thought the game was, and they were wrong. Used wrong ideas. It wasn't what they thought it was. People saw the gameplay and still didn't quite understand what you know, that it was a hero shooter. I,
Yeah, that is true.
I'm not saying that's exactly what's going to happen with Marathon, but when you kind of see similar pre-launch approaches, it's kind of concerning.
No, they
You
still.
know,
He said that they didn't even have the enemy design 100% nailed down yet, and the game comes out this year. I was like, what? I was like, what? I was like, normally, like if what I remember with Destiny, there was concept art of the Fallen years before the game was released. Like,
Yeah.
the way they looked literally is how they look today. Like,
yeah. Now, the on the flip side of things, if they have taken private feedback from people that they trust,
oh,
like
and
how they brought in Tarkov content creators
yeah,
and let them see it, and then they was like, "Hey, yo, this is garbage. I'm
well, he
not
did
playing
say
this."
that. He did say that in the video.
True. But then if that feedback is the reason why we're not seeing gameplay, okay, because this is them. That's different than say with Concord, where people was like, "Yo, all your character models look goofy and stupid, and I don't want to play this game." But you didn't already then pay millions of dollars for really expensive, high quality cutscenes with these characters. Whoopsie, you got some changes to make. You got some things that's gonna be difficult for you to handle in order to kind of like get the game where it needs to be, where people aren't just going to straight up ignore it when it launches. But if they're actually doing the things behind the scenes to take the constructive criticism, not get upset and get in their fifis on it, and actually like fix the game, then you know what? Take all the time you need.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I
But
agree with
I
that.
just don't, the genre itself troubles me because I just don't think there is enough. If there's only like 2 or 3 hero shooters that can be relevant on the market, I don't know if it's that many extraction shooters that can be relevant on the market.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
no, that's very true. I also what's the monetization model of this gonna look like too? We don't even know if it's gonna be a game that's going to be sold at retail. Is it going to be a free to play game? There's a lot of different things about this game that we still don't know.
What do you think about that? Matter of fact, let's because I've heard things, and it's not official, but when it comes to fair
Right.
games, I've heard fair games is going to be monetized the way Concord was, where it's a $40 price tag up front, and then everything else you
Is
get is
unlocked.
just earned through game, unlocked through the
Yeah.
game, and it's free. I remember there being a lot of debate about that kind of approach in today's market and whether that works or not. I also recall Microsoft doing the same thing with Ninja Theory's Bleeding Edge, where Bleeding Edge was a $40 game, $30 game, actually, I think. And everything was unlockable through the game. What are your ideas about that? Because I feel I'll just say,
yeah. Go ahead.
I don't think it matters. I don't think the monetization, whether it's free or not, matters. It's about whether it's good. If it's good, especially on the console market, where people don't have an aversion to buying games up front. If this was a mobile game, I would think you're asking for an L, because people have an expectation in mobile that it's free, and then if I want some stuff or I want to support, then I'll spend some money on it, or I anticipate the gotcha and I deal with it. But that's different with the console market and the PC market. People have somewhat some expectations of buying games up front and then playing them. If it looks great and plays great and it's got a high level of engagement and anticipation, once people see it, it's not going to matter. That's my thought on it. What are your thoughts about that?
No, that's kind of my same thought. Part of me believes that to an extent, I feel like it needs to have a price tag on it due to the fact that Bungie's been struggling monetization wise when it comes to like just bringing money in. Destiny's like falling down on hard times. Not as many people playing that game. So I can only imagine what the microtransaction sales in that game look like at this point. Most of the people I know that used to buy them in that game stopped buying them almost a year, 2 years ago. Like I haven't bought a microtransaction in Bungie up me from Destiny and up to like 2 years before I quit the game. So I feel like it kind of needs to have a price tag on it, like $30 or $40, but then that kind of limits the pool that you can pull from initially to like hope that if the game is good, you get that swath of people that like really, really play it. And then, if the overall fever pitch of people like missing out on the game picks up, like, we know how some games can do, then that would be an even better way for them to make more money. Cause then monetization wise on microtransactions will pick up drastically from not just the people that's buying and playing the game free to play right now. It will pick up with the people that's coming in, and once they start seeing skins and everything like that for their, their characters, that will be another good way for them to do it too. So if I had to be 100% really nailed down on the selection, I would say free to play would be the best way to go, because I feel like that's pretty much where I think that's also part of the reason why Destiny went free to play, or free to try, I should say, because it's not free to play. You still got to buy all the later stuff. But I do think it could go free to play. And then as long as they have a really good monetization model, it will be perfectly fine. My biggest thing is the genre it sits in just isn't a genre that really screams like I want to play this. It's like I'm not gonna say it's the lowest of the lowest tier, but it's close. It's real close to like the things that people don't really care about when it comes to like the type of game it is. So I think they're already starting in an uphill climb just in that matter alone. I think the only thing that's gonna kind of help them and save them initially is the name that Bungie has behind them, and the fact that a lot of people have been looking to see what Bungie's next game's going to be like. So I do think people are going to give it a try, especially if it's in a free to play model that way. So that would be the best way for them. But I just hope it does well, because if it doesn't, then you'll see, I think Bungie will just continually to go into a direction that a lot of the fans of their IPs and just of the company in general will just not want to see them go in.
I kind of feel like Bungie's done. Like this is like a slow death. Like
Right.
they're in hospice.
They're in hospice.
The family is, everyone's coming, and hey, Bungie's ain't got much time left. Why don't come over on Tuesday, say goodbye one last time. We'll have their favorite dessert. I think that Bungie loves cheesecake, right? Yeah, let's go buy some cheesecake. We'll come, sit down and relax, and they'll, we don't know how many days they have left, but it's about that time. That's Bungie right now. Seriously,
Right.
like it's Sony's like, oh, that gummy bears thing is a great idea. How about this? Your team that's working on that, we're gonna take them, we're gonna make them a whole different studio. No, they're not Bungie no more. We've already did that, because we're now the board of directors, and all you guys are done. So we already did that. They're actually already working a whole different studio. So they're there now. They're working on the game. That's not your game anymore. You don't have to worry about that. Just finish Marathon. You just finish Marathon, and then we'll talk later. Okay. And good luck. I mean, like, honestly, like there's anything new they got going on seems to be spun off to a different studio with the people that they had that were Bungie devs now not being Bungie devs. They got old directors getting pushed out because that acquisition money's coming due, and they trying to penny pinch, and these dudes is suing. It's all kinds of stuff going. It's done. Like
I kind of think
when
that too.
PlayStation 6 comes out, we not talking about Bungie. What's Bungie gonna put on PlayStation 6? Ain't nobody. That's not even going to be a conversation piece. It's nothing. There's nothing. What what offspring from Bungie's corpse is making games on PlayStation 6 is what we would be talking about. Like,
Wildin'.
that's it. It ain't Bungie. So I mean, even if let's say Marathon is successful, let's say it's awesome and it shocks everyone and everyone loves it, I mean, Bungie is Bungie. You know, they can do good gunplay, so it's a good game. It wouldn't surprise me if, like, you know, they still shut the studio down and then just had, like, out of that, create a studio that solely focuses just on Marathon. And it's a smaller team, like 100 developers,
Yeah.
and all they're doing is just working on content for that. Kind of like how, like, Riot Games has an entire team that just works on Valorant. That's all they do, and it's like 150 developers. Like, if they just, you know, spun off the people that they need for Marathon, and then give them a name. I don't know. What's a good name? I don't know. Sprinter. I don't know. His name Marathon. I don't know, right? So Sprinter Studio is now, you know, running Marathon and just in the whole Bungie thing altogether. I mean, it's I don't think it has much life left. You know, it's done. They're gonna
Dang,
pull the plug
SloMo. You
soon.
said it's dead. They dead, SloMo?
Yeah, oh yeah, they did.
They
Man.
dead like the NBA's viewer ratings?
Yeah, that did. How you let the NFL show you up on your own? This is supposed to be. You knew they were hurt too. They even had
Christmas
LeBron
Day?
and all the other players all like, "Hey man, hey man, Christmas Day's supposed to be our day." Sorry, any day the NFL wants to go live with their content is their day.
Is
Okay,
their day.
NBA, you getting deboed. Okay, you know they said these are my ratings, punk. You know they just straight punked you off of Christmas Day. That's
funny.
that's Bungie, man. They
Oh man, that's
it
crazy.
ain't much left here for them. So
That's true. I mean, I pretty much dropped Bungie like I dropped watching the NBA because I don't watch the NBA no more either. That's wild, bro. But no, I agree. It's of their own doing, and we'll see what they do with it. We'll see how it turns out. But with that being said, and topic list disappeared. Let me reset that. But with that being said, let's get into this last topic. Let's talk about Secret Level, Halo, Doom guy.
have you watched Secret Level?
I watched all.
How much of it have you watched?
All of
you
it.
watched all of it. I've watched half of it, so I haven't watched
All of
everything yet. I haven't seen a bad episode yet. You know, and I think there have been, my favorite actually has been the one for a game I've never played.
Was it?
What's it called? Lost World.
Lost World. Yeah.
It's the one where Arnold Schwarzenegger is the it was hilarious.
He plays the king.
Yeah, he's the king. I loved it. I was just cracking up the whole time. It was awesome. But I thought the Warhammer one was well done. Everyone I've seen has been damn good. Go ahead.
No. The Warhammer, like we'll get into it, but yeah, the Warhammer one, that was awesome. Lord Titus. And the Mega Man one. Did you see the Pac-Man one?
Yes.
Okay, well, we got to definitely get into this. All right, so, let's do that first because we'll get right. So, what do you think of the Pac-Man one? Because that thing was dark.
Yeah, you know, and typically I'm not really into taking IP in dark directions because I think it's so cliche nowadays. Like you see, like these. Is it Blumhouse that's doing it? Were they taking like because I guess it's public domain now, all these fairy tales and like we're seeing like Pooh Bear in a horror film. It's just like, what the heck is this? What is he like eating honey and killing people at the same time? Like, what is this weirdness? But I didn't have a problem with this in Secret Level. And I really kind of liked, you know, they're not very long.
No,
so I didn't really, you know, they didn't overstay their welcome. It didn't, the ideas didn't get stale. I just thought everything was well done. Plus, it's Blur Studios. Blur Studios, for those who aren't aware, they make a lot of these like trailers that we get annoyed with the developer because the quality of the animation and the computer, the CG graphics and everything isn't representative. of what the actual game looks like, and the trailer will get you hyped and it's all awesome, and then you play the game and you like, wait a minute, this isn't what I saw. But that's not an indictment on Blur. They are asked to do these things and they do a great job.
Yeah, the Dungeon and Dragon episode, the first one, was so it looked like a Blizzard a Blizzard CGI with the dragon taking the essence away and it turning into the evil. I was like, yo, this is great.
Dope. That was dope. Yeah.
And then, like you said, with Arnold Schwarzenegger in the New World, Once a King, Once and Future King was the name of that one. I like that one. The Warhammer one was awesome. The Pac-Man one was weird, but I liked the direction. When it was over, I was like, yo, this is wild. And then wait till you get my overall favorite one is the Mega Man one, which is episode 10. And they actually made a Concord one right around the time PlayStation canceled it.
I knew the Concord one was
it's like episode 13.
Yeah, I knew that one. I haven't. So like I stopped at the Pac-Man one, and I just haven't got back to it to finish it. I'll finish it soon. But
it's a nice length if you sit there and watch all of them, because they're like 8 to 9 minutes each. Some are like 6, but most of them are like between 8 and 10 minutes. So it's a good watch, like a good 2 hours if you watch them all. It's worth it. But your next one is the Crossfire one, which I think you'll like that one too. But with that, let's get into what should be episode 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't know where it would be in the realm. Let's talk about how Microsoft was approached by Secret Level and said,
"Oh my god!"
Said we want to live our lifelong dream of bring, because like he said in the interview, like he said in the article, they haven't done any crossovers yet. If there's no like you look at all, there's no crossovers in any of the Secret Level episodes. They want to do a crossover with Doom Guy and Master Chief, Halo and Doom. And he said he wrote a heart-spirited letter to Microsoft letting him know the direction he wanted to go in with it, how it would be the first crossover. And his director told him, Microsoft go tell you no. So he did it anyway and went to Microsoft, and Microsoft was like, not no. They were like, nah. SloMo. Nah, we good, bro.
Nay, sir.
Nah,
we
good,
don't.
bro. Nah.
No, we won't allow that, sir.
No, we said SloMo. What
we have no problem with you misrepresenting our games with high quality trailers, but taking two iconic characters and putting them together in a way that gamers have been waiting for it to happen ever since we acquired Bethesda, I say nay, sir. You can't do that like that. I said on Twitter in response to this that this is a classic example of owning everything and not knowing what to do with any of it. You just got no actual clue what to do with your content. This is something that's funded by Amazon, pitched by Blur Studios. All you had to do is say, all right, cool. I mean, they've already done trailers for like Halo Wars. I think it was Halo Wars. They've already worked with you on Halo before. What is the problem here? Like, you know, as a fan of Halo, not so much big a fan of Doom, but definitely a fan of Halo.
You're not a fan of Doom?
No, I don't really care for Doom.
Really? So I mean, is it?
Yeah, I've never played Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal. I just zero desire.
Do you think it's just one of those games that just? I mean, not saying that you're slow, but it is one of those. It's just the speed of it doesn't appeal to you, because I have a lot of friends that say they like it, but it's way too fast for them.
I haven't played Doom since like it was really pixelated, blocky Doom from back in the day. I think I played it on really Super Nintendo. Like I just haven't played it since then. Yeah, maybe Doom 64. It might have been the last one I played. I just don't care. I just like it looks all right. I just don't. Anytime I've thought about installing it, because I mean, like I have Game Pass, it's there. I just like, I'll play something else. But I mean, that's not the point here. The point here is that like ever since they acquired Bethesda, people have had dreams of Doom Guy and the Master Chief together. Or, you could just do your typical, we see this if you've read comics before, you see how superhero team ups always are. You don't want to disrespect one fan base or the other. You got these two iconic characters, they meet. There's a disagreement, there's a misunderstanding, they start fighting. No one really gets the upper hand over the other. Then they kind of calm down, realize who their common enemy is, and then just straight go ham on everyone, in an epic fashion. That could have been the entire thing. 10 minutes long of cool, just cool nerd stuff that us geeks would have loved to just enjoy. But they said, nah, we'll pass on that. And it's just, they passed on this in 2021. Guess what came out in 2022, Forte?
Would that be the game that was supposed to release at launch that they decided to?
No.
Oh,
no.
What?
TV show.
Oh, he took his helmet off and he showed us his cheeks.
Yes. So you said no to a Master Chief, to a Halo and Doom crossover, but you were just fine with releasing that garbage on Paramount Plus. I will reiterate what garbage. Well, I think Paramount canceled it, but it deserved to be canceled. It sucked. I just can't understand. These people have no vision, and they don't understand what works and what people want. And then they're shocked, and it's like, oh well, it's successful now, or the people like this stuff, or they're doing a second season. Okay, all right, now they want to get involved after, it's good, but it just kind of shows a lack of vision of what people want, and it actually should be no surprise that they would make that kind of decision, considering they had the opportunity to have GTA 3 exclusive, and then they said no. They had the opportunity for Guitar Hero exclusive, and they laughed and said no. They had the opportunity for Spider-Man exclusive, and they said no, even though they literally just worked with the developer that PlayStation used to make it exclusive to PlayStation. They just don't have any kind of vision of like what works in entertainment. And I think it's because what makes Microsoft successful isn't entertainment. They've been successful off of providing technology that is essential to productivity, to work. What they dominate in and what they're really good at has nothing to do with entertainment whatsoever. And when it comes to entertainment, they just seem constantly baffled by what people like, constantly baffled by what people want. And when it comes to the things, the IP that they have, a lot of it is, you got a lot of money and you purchased it. You didn't really build this stuff up, Bungie was already making Halo when you acquired the developer.
Mm-hmm.
Epic made Gears, and then you bought the IP off of them when they were done with it. There isn't a lot of IP that they own, and they own a ton of IP. But there's not a lot of IP that they have nurtured and grew and matured. And when they did get IP that seemed to have that kind of potential, Or they shut the developer down, like with Hi-Fi Rush. So it's just like they don't really care. Let me not generalize everyone that works there. There is this appearance that the majority of them do not really care about the art of things and about the creativity side of it. And when that is how that they are, it's no shocker that Blur Studios comes to them, pitches an idea of the Master Chief and Doom Guy, and they're together in one 15-minute, 10-minute episode that is bullets and blood and guts everywhere. And Chief says, let's finish the fight. And Doom Guy, I don't know what Doom Guy does. He grunts or something. And then they just murder everything and everyone. They're killing the Covenant. They're killing demons. They're taking demons and they shoving them up Covenant asses. And it's awesome. And then, you know, and you see the Blur guys, you're like, they're animated and their arms are up and they're shooting, you know, they're doing air guns and they're like, this is going to be epic. It's going to be great. You know, they're doing all this stuff in their pitch. And then the Microsoft guys are just like, so, nah, we're good. We've hit our quota on our data says that we shouldn't have more than 3 different transmedia platforms using one particular IP at a time. We don't want to oversaturate the market. We just launched the game. We're going to launch a game later this year, Halo Infinite. It's going to do amazing, right? And then we got a TV show that we're working with Paramount that's going to blow the doors off. So we don't need this. We don't want to oversaturate everything. And then Doom is, you know, okay. Anyway, so yeah, thanks, but no thanks. We'll pass. And it's just like,
that's exactly how that conversation went.
it's just like 2 things can exist at once. You know, you could do something that's dope, that's not canon, and it's just all it does is promote your IP. You know, somehow they get that when they keep allowing Fortnite to have Master Chief in there, and you understand Master Chief isn't canon in Fortnite. You know, he's out here doing some TikTok dance, you know, in Fortnite and shooting like bubbles out of guns and crap. And no one says, oh, well, you know, he didn't do this in Halo 4. Well, of course not. It's Fortnite.
That's wild.
It is frustrating as a fan of Halo to just not be able to see something that damn awesome. And I hope that it gets corrected and eventually they say, oh wow, like, you know, the secret level thing is actually pretty dope. Let's go do it for the second season. Let's go that pitch they had. Let's go add it, allow it in there. But it's just, you know, it doesn't need to be you constantly realizing after the fact, you know, that this is good. And it just kind of goes to show to me, maybe they need, you know, I'm gonna say this. I was having a conversation with a few people about this. I think it was Kay Asante that said this as we were discussing it. And I think, and shout out to Kay, I think he was saying, it was him that said that they need their Kevin Feige. You know, Kevin Feige is like the guy that kind of runs Marvel Studios for Disney. And so Disney is, you know, huge company like Microsoft is, and they got all this entertainment. They own all this stuff, and it's all, they have all these things, but you know, one person can't manage it all. Like the guy that the CEO of Disney isn't managing directly the Star Wars IP. I mean, good grief, they own so much stuff. Aliens, the Aliens Predator IPs, and also the Marvel stuff. Like, you know, Kevin Feige handles Marvel, Kathleen Kennedy unsuccessfully does Star Wars, and you know, so on. And maybe, when it comes to green lighting these kind of things and getting someone who has their finger on the pulse of what gamers are actually looking for. I'm sorry. If that was Infinite Umbra. My bad, Umbra. It was you. Infinite Umbra said it. Shout out to Umbra. But when it comes to these kind of things, maybe they need a dude that just, or a woman, it doesn't, I'm not, saying it has to be a guy, but like someone who has the finger on the pulse of what people who are interested in this kind of content are looking for. And when they hear an idea, they're not like so caught up in what the data says and what the numbers says that they go, but you know what? Let's take a chance and allow that to happen. I mean, what's the worst case scenario is that it's not that good, but we've released games for these IPs that aren't that good. So we took those risks. And at least with this one, we're not spending any money because it's on Amazon's dime. And we're not actually doing the work ourselves because Blur Studios is doing it. All they need from us is the go ahead and the thumbs up. And so that costs me nothing. And if it works out, I get to look like a freaking genius. And if it doesn't work out, I say, well, hey, look, I took a chance and we spent no money on it. So all these, bean counters that work here at Microsoft can appreciate that. It's an easy no-brainer here. And it's just easy no-brainers seem to be not so easy. It's like they're the dumbest smart people ever. You're smart as hell, but you just make the dumbest decisions that are common sense freaking layups. It's just, what are we doing? I've been ranting about this. Forte, you tell me your thoughts here, man. On a scale of 1 to 10, how mad are you about this?
I'm mad. Listen, I'm not mad at it at all. I'm just disappointed as usual. It's like, it seems like so I couldn't tell you the amount of people, because I didn't know about secret levels until one of my associates told me about it. And he said he's found out about it from a customer. And let me tell you how many, dog, we literally had people coming into the store looking for Warhammer 40K because of how awesome that episode was. They was like, I didn't know nothing about Warhammer. Is the game anything?
Episode was great.
They was like, is the game anything like the whatever? And I was like, yeah. I was like, it's, other than understanding the who Titus is and everything, it's pretty much a rendition of the actual game. And customers is coming there buying the game. Like I at least sold 2 or 3 copies of the game off of secret levels alone, because people was like, yeah, man, I watched that secret levels episode. Made me want to try the game out. I was like, oh, cool. So, like a lot of people in the chat are saying, this is like free marketing, and it seems like it's really baffling to me, because I feel like Microsoft really doesn't care about Halo. But then when it comes to stuff like this, it seems like they do, because it's like they want to protect their IP. But then on top of that, it's like you're not doing anything with the IP. It's like everybody is very excited for all the things that's coming. You're not continuing the story of Halo Infinite. You're basically moving on to something else, which, take it or leave it, it is what it is. But the fact that this is kind of the decision that they're making around this, when I feel like this is a really, really good marketing, and it will literally fulfill the the fantasy pause of what a lot of people want to see from like a Master Chief and Doom guy. Because if you look at just all of the episodes of Secret Level, like especially the gory ones, like, can you imagine the level of detail and like craziness that would happen in a Master Chief version of that game with Doom guy?
Forte. Yeah. Mute the game audio.
What game audio?
The game audio that you're playing during the.
Oh shoot! I did not know that was playing. Why is that playing? Well, it wasn't doing it earlier. You said they stay muted forever. That's because you don't pull it up. No, you say you leave it muted. So was it doing that earlier? It couldn't have been doing. They would have said something earlier. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how that even, other than when I was recording something 2 days ago, that was probably it. Why can't they talking? What the heck happened? You were just talking. I don't know what the heck happened. Did my storage just... Why did it do this? It switched to desktop audio for a reason. Talk now. No, stop grunting. Talk now. Because it literally wasn't doing that earlier.
Oh my gosh, I'm still muted.
No, you're not. It says you're coming through desktop audio instead of Discord audio for some reason now, and you weren't doing that earlier. You were coming through Discord audio.
You gotta stop using Discord audio then.
That's the only time it's ever done it. It's never did that. It just literally switched.
They're saying they still can't hear me.
They can hear you. I'm looking at the audio level move.
Okay, now they can hear me.
Yeah, because you were, for some reason, I muted this desktop audio, and for some reason it muted you too because you were coming through Discord audio.
Okay. I'll have to make a mental note of this to just completely cut this part of the podcast out before I upload it to Spotify.
It's weird. Why did it do this? It was literally working earlier.
You know what, Forte? You know what I'm gonna say?
And Discord audio isn't even what's the name?
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this just to get on the Rodimus nerves. What? You are a better audio engineer than Xbox is at managing their IPs.
That ain't saying too much.
We in the year 2025, we have got to get Forte better at managing this stuff. This man I don't know what's going on with Forte's OBS. It's a hot mess. I don't get it. I never have these issues. I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out. We had no issues earlier, and all of a sudden you're coming through desktop audio and not Discord audio.
Anywho, I saw some comments in the chat. I will address them.
What?
About our topic about Xbox, secret level, the whole Doom and Halo crossover. Apparently, it was said that, and I don't know this for certain. I didn't see anything about this, and that's why I didn't speak on it. But apparently, Valve declined to allow Half-Life to be in the TV show. If that is true, Valve gets the same smoke. And I would say that makes sense considering Valve, even though it's been, one of the voice actors or something, is finally speaking up for the first time in years, which means that maybe there's a Half-Life something happening. You can never really take that as a guarantee because Valve is notorious for not giving gamers what they want, which is a Half-Life 3. So yeah, that makes sense that they would be stupid enough not to put Half-Life in secret level. And yeah, if that's true, they deserve the smoke. just like Microsoft is getting that smoke, that doesn't change what the topic is. So we won't be allowing those kind of strawman arguments to deter us from what we're actually talking about.
Let them have their argument. They fighting a good fight.
No, it doesn't actually solve anything. Valve is wrong. It made a stupid decision, if it's true, and Microsoft made a stupid decision, which we have verified it's true. So it is what it is. They don't have any kind of vision, unfortunately, and they could use, as Umbra has said multiple times, they could use a Kevin Feige kind of person that kind of like manages. Maybe it could be a whole like a team, kind of like how XDev is a team under Sony that just does cinematics and that's all they do. They work with all the developers, but they handle the cinematics aspect of things, and they do a good job at that. There are teams under Microsoft where all they do is pitch like game ideas, game designs, and they pitch it to studios, and they want to work with it, and run with it. They do so. There are teams that are like studios within these platforms that, they're not front facing. We don't see what they're doing, but maybe they need to create a team that just handles like IP content. How like Jason Ronald just got promoted to being director of Next Generation or something like that, like some title I've never heard of a title. I considering what they're trying to do with like Xbox OS kind of stuff and Windows and with PC handhelds, I just take that as like he's managing the technical aspects of unifying a UI/UX design across mobile, console, PC, cloud, everything. OS that runs on PC handhelds that they don't make, that kind of thing. But if you can make a title for him that kind of handles that, can we make a title for someone who manages IP and has an actual like creativity, a creative bone in their body, that I kind of understand that when you get good ideas thrown at you that you don't have to pay any money for to do, then you just take it, like kind of no-brainer kind of stuff. I just think that will make a lot of sense.
It will.
And then you can kind of take, it leaves the people whose skill sets seem to be more along with managing the books, and it allows them to just do that. And I was about to get real slanderous for a second because I was about to say, because you know who I was about to talk about, right? But I'm not.
You can't.
I'm not going. I'm not. I'm gonna leave that nervous person alone. They're probably peeing the floor right now. I'm gonna leave them alone. I ain't saying a word about them. We just gonna keep it moving. Anything else you want to say about this? We can wrap it up, I guess.
Oh my God, you're crazy. I almost wanted you to say it so we can make the show go another 30 minutes, because that's where we go. We wouldn't end the show.
I'm not going to say it. I am not going to say it.
SloMo gets into it with other person that remains to be named. Oh my God. No.
Saying anything.
No, that's cool. You ain't got to. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you to the over 56 people. It's been a while since we've been in the 50s, and hopefully this is the start of a new thing for DPS on the channel. Really appreciate all you guys. The first thing we want you to do is hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We're getting close to that 500. I think we're around 375, almost 380. So once we hit 500, we're off and running. Really appreciate all the feedback and everything on the channel. You guys are awesome, and appreciate that. With that being said, SloMo, where can they find you? What you got going on your channel, and everything else? And why you laughing at us, David? What you laughing at, David?
I just,
What you say?
Oh, there's something going on in the chat.
I just read it. Never mind. Go ahead, SloMo. You want to continue? So, hey, we got the people to stay around a little bit longer. No, so let's get out of here, man. Tell us what you got going on, man. Just go ahead and do your thing, man.
I ain't got nothing going on, man. I don't. Look, I'm just chilling. I'm just chilling out here. I'm gonna do a lunchtime with SloMo tomorrow. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a lunchtime with SloMo tomorrow. I'm gonna be as slanderous as possible. I am talking all kinds of mess. I'm gonna talk about these AMD fanboys out here just slutting themselves out for Team Red. I'm gonna talk about these Sonic fans that just, can't just recognize that the movies are the only reason why the character is still relevant. And even in his movies, Sonic is an afterthought in his own movies. I'm gonna talk about all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a glorious.
You think he was an afterthought?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, he did.
What did Sonic do?
He did take a big push to Shadow and Knuckles.
This is in the entirety of Sonic. Spoilers. I don't care. This is the entirety of Sonic's contribution to Sonic 3. Repeating a quote that the guy, what is his name, James Marsden, says to him in the beginning of the movie. He repeats it like 2 different times, and then he keeps complaining that other people don't recognize he's the fastest alien on the planet. This is all he says, and then he has a dope fight scene near the end. That's about it. That's all Sonic got in the movie. There's nothing else Sonic related in this. This is a Keanu Reeves 10% Idris Elba with Knuckles, but I would say mostly this is a Keanu Reeves and Jim Carrey movie.
Jim Carrey was awesome in this movie, by the way.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey was freaking awesome.
So even in Sonic's own movie, he sucks and no one cares about him.
I don't think he sucked. He did. The show was stolen by multiple other actors in the movie, though.
He sucks. So anyway, I'll continue on about why Sonic is trash tomorrow on Lunchtime with SloMo, as well as probably talking smack about some other games. We'll see what happens, but come on through. When I go live and stuff, and we can hang out and it's whatever. Yeah.
I do agree with David. I do agree with David. He said it's likely Jim Carrey's final movie. It kind of seemed that way the way he kind of went out in the movie, like he was saying goodbye more than just in Sonic, but in everything.
Yep. But Forte, what you got going on, man? What you doing?
Arada says rename DPS to SloMo hates everything, especially Xbox. Listen,
that's a great idea.
Listen,
that's a great idea. Let's do that.
No slander on my co-host. No slander.
Let's do that. Let's just rename the podcast. The whole channel, SloMo hates everything, especially Xbox. Let's see how that rolls.
SloMo, that would actually be a good YouTube channel. SloMo hates everything. SloMo, just come on. It's like the name of the channel.
It really grinds my gears.
Right. SloMo, the name of the channel would be SloMo hates everything. The podcast would just be named Hate Episode 3. I think we got something. Thanks for that, Arada. We might have to use that in the future.
He's right now like, damn, just gave them an idea. I don't want them to do that.
Oh man, yeah. But with that being said, for myself, get back into some more Call of Duty, play that some more. I've been working on some other stuff on the second channel because I kind of still don't know what I want to do with the main one, but the second one I kind of have a good idea. I was kicking it back with Lord Attic of ILP. Shout out to them with some ideas on that. So I will fill people in on that when I finally.
Ooh,
decide
how
what
about
it
this
was gonna be.
suggestion
Go ahead.
from Yobi? Rename Damage Per Second podcast to Forte Damages Audio Podcast. I love it. I love it.
Yobi, I thought you liked me. Yobi, I thought you know what, Yobi, I did realize over the course of like the last 7 to 8 months, your love for slow-mo was a little bit you know, you just like slow-mo more than me. It's okay, I understand. You know, I'm not the most likable person in the world. I still appreciate you anyway. I still appreciate you anyways. I appreciate you anyway. But no, we appreciate all you guys. You guys are awesome. Check us out, Damage Per Second podcast here. Just make sure you subscribe to the channel. SloMoBackSlap, Gaming Forte. Follow us wherever you can follow us at, and we will get you guys in the next channel. And the next episode. And thanks again for the over 50 people that were on the show. We appreciate that. Y'all have a good week, and we will see you guys next week, 9 p.m. on DPS episode 210. Y'all have a good week. See you guys later.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
Yogi's
Okay,
like, get out of your feelings, buddy. My feelings are hurt. It's too late. You got to come back next week to make me feel better. Later, guys.
Hey.
You funny, like, hate. What are you doing?